The NHL is back in full swing in the new year. Some teams have come out very, very hot, while some others are very, very not. We're going to take a look at the hottest and coldest teams in the NHL right now. Let's go. Hey everybody, it is time for hottest and coldest teams. We'll be looking at 5 in each category here. Our first one of 2022. It's been almost a month since I've done one of these videos because of the holidays and the season stopping for a little bit and just my schedule. We haven't done one of these in a while, but they're a lot of fun. And we're going to get right into it here. You guys know me. I like to start with the positive. We'll look at the hot teams first. Right now, hottest teams in the NHL. Coming in at number 5, I've got the Colorado Avalanche, who are 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. Win streak, though, is only at win 1 because they did lose in overtime to Nashville earlier this past week. But still, 8 out of 10 for Colorado. They are climbing the standings fast and becoming, once again, one of the best teams in the Western Conference. At number 4, we have the LA Kings, man. Los Angeles, what a year for them. They're on a real good hot streak right now, 7-3-0 in their last 10 games, won 3 straight, including some big wins over tough opponents. And, man, they're in a playoff spot right now in the Pacific Division, and that is awesome to see for a young, up-and-coming team like the Kings. They're having a very solid year. At number 3, we've got the Florida Panthers, who are 7-2-1 in their last 10. Also on a 3-game winning streak. Florida is really, really hot right now. We'll see if they can keep that up. But again, one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, one of the top teams in the league all season long. Wouldn't expect anything less from the Panthers. St. Louis Blues, number 2, also 7-2-1 in their last 10 and on a 3-game winning streak. St. Louis is trying to climb all the way to the top of the Central Division. They're one back of Nashville right now. But with a win today and a Nashville loss, they could actually leapfrog the Preds and potentially take over first place. St. Louis has had a phenomenal year, and they're playing really good hockey right now. Coming in at number 1, I honestly am very surprised that I'm saying this, but man, this team has completely turn things around in the new year. That is the Boston Bruins, who are 7-3-0 in their last 10 games. They've won 4 straight, which is the longest active winning streak in the NHL right now. And Boston in 2022 looks totally different than the Boston Bruins that we saw for the first few months of the season back in October, November, and December. I don't know what happened during this little layoff that they had where, they went about 2 weeks without playing a game, but holy cow, has it been a totally different team coming back in 2022. So Boston's on fire right now. They've got a tough game today against the Nashville Predators. We'll see how they do in that. We'll see how long Boston can keep this up. But man, they have looked like a whole new team since the turn of the new year. So they're your 5 hottest teams: Colorado, Los Angeles, Florida, St. Louis, and Boston. Now we have to take a look at the other side of things. The coldest teams in the NHL right now, teams that are really struggling. Anaheim, almost, a little bit surprisingly, coming in at number 5. Anaheim's gotten a lot of attention this season. A lot of people have talked about the Ducks and the great year that they've had, and rightfully so. They've been so much better than most people expected heading into this season. But they've been hitting a bit of a rough patch here lately. 3-5-2 in their last 10 games, lost 2 in a row. They've had a pretty difficult schedule the last couple of weeks, and they've got still a pretty difficult schedule coming up for the next couple of weeks as well. So it doesn't really get any easier for Anaheim, and they're just hitting a rough patch here. They're still in a playoff spot. They're still, looking like they're a decent team in the Pacific Division, but they're definitely hitting a little bit of a rough patch here. We'll see if they can climb out of it coming up pretty soon. Coming in at number 4, we've got the Edmonton Oilers. Man, what an absolute mess the Oilers are right now. Goaltending's a problem. Defense is a problem. Lack of secondary scoring is a problem. Lack of scoring in general has become a problem. Man, the Oilers are definitely going through some issues right now. 2-6-2 in their last 10 games, lost 2 straight. Obviously only winning 2 out of 10 is not going to get you very far. They've dropped out of a playoff spot. They've lost their playoff positioning in the Pacific, and they're in a tough spot right now. There seems to be a lot of issues going on with this team. We'll see if they can turn it around or not. But the Oilers are going to have to fix it fast if they're going to get back into a playoff position in the West. Right along with Edmonton at number 3, we've got the Calgary Flames, man. Alberta hockey fans, no matter which Alberta team you're a fan of, you're not too happy right now because the Calgary Flames are 2-7-1 in their last 10 games. They've lost 4 straight. Man, this was a team that was so hot to start the year, got off to such a great start. Everybody was talking about the Flames and, how good they were doing, and they've just fizzled right out. And somebody dumped some water on the fire in Calgary, and they're not hot anymore. They're really, really starting to struggle here. Something's gone wrong with Calgary. And again, they've fallen out of a playoff spot in the West, so they're going to have to turn it around and get back on track if they're going to make the playoffs. Calgary and Edmonton have ended up in pretty similar spots. It's funny, early in the season, they were in pretty similar spots, high up in the standings in the Pacific. And now as the year's gone along, they've started to struggle right around the same time and have both dropped out of playoff spots around the same time. So the Alberta teams are kind of sticking with each other here. But they definitely want to get their seasons turned around. At number 2, we've got the Montreal Canadiens, 1-7-2 in their last 10 games. They lost their last game out in overtime. I'm not going to harp on the Habs too much. We've talked about them a lot this year, and they've been on this list a lot this year. We know it's just been a disaster of a season, and that doesn't appear to be changing anytime soon. And then finally, number 1, the Seattle Kraken. Yeah, Seattle's definitely not had the same expansion experience as the Vegas Golden Knights did back in 2017, 2018. 1-7-2 in their last 10 games. They've lost 5 in a row. Seattle's dropped near the bottom of the standings in the Western Conference, and yeah, it's been a long year for them. They are definitely a team that's going to have to start building for the future as opposed to trying to win now, which I really don't think they're trying to win now. They're a team that's building for the future and just trying to acquire some assets because they're not going anywhere this year or even next year, anything like that. So Seattle's your coldest team. So 5 coldest teams right now: Anaheim, Edmonton, Calgary, Montreal, and Seattle. And I just noticed this: 4 out of the 5 are from the Pacific Division. So yeah, Pacific Division not having a really good time right now. 4 out of the 5 coldest teams come from there. So that's where we're at right now. And those are your hottest and coldest teams currently in the NHL. We'll be back doing this again next Saturday. We'll see what changes, which teams move up, move down, on the list, off the list. We got a whole week of action coming up that will definitely change some things about this. But with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our merchandise store, memberships, and donations are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys soon.